are now listening to the Dad Rules Podcast with your hosts, Mario E. and Kid.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Dad Rules Podcast, where we help you dad better. I'm one of your hosts, Mario E. and Kid. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Let's get to the topic.
All right. So today's topic is actions speak louder than words. All right. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but Kid, let's start it off.
All right. Actions speak louder than words. I think this is something that we all know about. And when I think about actions speaking louder than words, I think about a word that is an action word, and that is love.
All right.
I think this is something that we talk about all the time. I love you. I got love for you. And we've all had experience with that. But sometimes I think we forget that it's a lot of action that has to come with that word.
For sure.
It's one thing to tell somebody that you love them, but when you can show that action with it, I think it means that much more.
Mm-hmm.
And just speaking from a fatherly standpoint, I feel like it is essential for our kids to see us express that love. So when we say we love them, like from a young age, like with my son, it's important if I say I love you, is to give him a hug, so he can see and feel that love. And then he also needs to see how I interact with his mother.
Oh,
He
yeah,
needs
for
to
sure.
see me show love to his mother. Because one day he's going to be older. He's going to have a wife, and he needs to know how to treat his wife. And then one day he's going to have kids. And he's going to revert back to how I treat him. And then also friends that we have and our other family that we have. When we say we love those people, we have to show it.
Right.
We have to show it. And we have to show our kids how they're supposed to act, how they're supposed to behave in those situations. So, like, I guess for an example, for me, I had where my dad and my mom, they always taught me to, be caring. They always taught me to be generous. Always taught me how to put others before myself.
Mm-hmm.
And to be thinking about others and showing that you care about other people, right?
Yeah.
Trying to always, I'm not going to say try and make people feel good, but do things that make people feel good.
Mm-hmm.
If you can brighten somebody's day, do it. If it's any way possible, do that. And just for an example, growing up as a kid and going out to eat with my parents is something that we did, a lot of. We kind of related that to having a good time. That was going out to eat, with each other, enjoying each other's company.
Yeah. Y'all still do that a lot, right?
Yeah, we still do that a lot, but I'm a little bit more conscious of the weight that I put on. So
yeah.
my caloric intake. So yeah, I can't go to the restaurants as much as I used to, trying to cut back, so
I feel
we're
you.
not able to go as much, or if I do go, I gotta eat a lot smarter. But nonetheless, thinking about the times that we went in restaurants and we go into that door and we're walking to our seats and my dad sees somebody that he knows and we can say that that's a friend. It was nothing to see my dad say, well, when y'all finish eating, y'all send y'all check over to me. And it wasn't a thing of trying to be this flashy or big shot or whatever, but it was just showing love to friends or family or whoever it was, you know, because you do that, you pay for somebody's meal, more than likely that makes their day. Because if they're sitting down eating, they have all intentions on paying for that meal,
Absolutely.
unless they're gonna go to the
Absolutely.
back and start washing dishes.
Yeah.
But it was little things like that that I saw growing up. It was like, man, like I want to do that when I get older. But it showed me like that that's how you know, if you're able to, that's how you can show people that you care about them or show love or make them feel good. And it's all about
Mhm.
action. So I can say I love you all day, but taking that action to take something that's valued in our lives, which is money, and taking that and taking care of somebody else's meal. It's almost
Yeah.
like a pay it forward thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen myself do
Which is
that.
very important.
I've seen myself do that with friends. You know, let me take care of your dinner tonight or whatever. And it always makes me feel good. And we've talked about in previous episodes, making sure that even when you're in restaurants, making sure you tip very well. And sometimes give a crazy tip to the waiter or waitress because that's going to make their day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They could be having a rough day or whatever. And it even went down. I was younger, you know, I was the youngest of all my siblings. But like I told you, my nephew that I spent a lot of time with that was really like a brother to me. Um, he was with us a lot too. So one time, I think I was playing, probably was at a basketball game when I was playing in high school. And I think my nephew was at the game or something like that. And my dad gave him some money to go get him something to eat. My dad probably gave him like $20 or something like that. So he ran off with his friends and went to go get food at the concession stand or whatever. So when he comes back, my dad's like, "Where's the money I gave you? Like, where the change at?" He's like, "I don't have any change." And he's like, "But this the only food that you got. So where's the rest of the money at?" And he was like, "Oh, I had my friends with me and I just paid for their food." So you see how those lessons are like taught,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're not even really trying to teach those lessons, but you know, I'm thankful that my dad was able to do stuff like that because it's a seed that even one day when he's gone and he's not with us anymore or whatever the case is, that seed is always going to be in
Yeah.
me, you know, my brother, my sister, um, my nephews, my son. That seed is planted
Yeah.
in his legacy, you know,
Yeah.
and I just feel like that's what it means the most to me when I can say that actions speak louder than words. And I know sometimes people say, put your money where your mouth is. Because when people use their money, like I said, it's very valuable. We're serious about that. That's something that
Hmm.
we don't let go of, you know, lightly. But believe it or not, it all comes back.
Yeah.
And it really
Absolutely.
makes you feel good when you're able to give that love or that monetary gift or whatever the case is to someone else, man. It's rewarding to you.
Hmm.
So, you know, that was kind of my take on it, but I'm interested to see how you looked at it.
Yeah. So I didn't want to cut you off or whatever, but I was going to ask you because something you said, when you talked about, with your son or whatever and stuff. But I guess my question is, you know, does do actions really speak louder than words? You know, that's my question. Do you really think that? I know that's the topic for today's
Well,
podcast episode, but do they really speak louder?
I I think so. I would think so. I can just use an example of, let's say I walk into the house every single day, and the first thing I tell my son is that I love you. And then I just start treating him bad,
Mm-hmm.
talking down to him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, tell him he's nothing, or, you know, later on, you know, he wants to go outside and I say, I don't have time for all that. You know, get away from me. I need a break from you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You get on my nerves. You're this, you're that. I can say that I love him, but that's one thing about kids too. how you treat them, they can pick up on your mood.
Mm-hmm.
They can pick up on how you really feel about them. I learned this, but with working with kids for so many years, I learned
Mm-hmm.
that you can be strict on somebody, you cannot let them get away with anything, but when they really feel like that you care about them, they will do anything for you.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the thing that I feel is like you can say whatever you want to say out of your mouth, but your actions have to support that to really help it go to the next level, to let them really feel how you really want them to feel. So,
Yeah.
like you say you love them, then you gotta hug them, you gotta spend time with them, you gotta build them up. All of that comes together and expresses how you really feel.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting. You said a lot of those different things, and the only thing I would add to that is I would say that do actions speak louder than words? I'd say in a lot of cases, yes, but there are certain situations I think, especially involving your kids, and especially early on, and even I mean, not just early on, but throughout their lives. Uh, I still think you need to say it because how many times I know a friend of mine, and she was just kind of saying that, one of the things with her is, she never heard those words from her dad, as far as, I love you, and I can think about, and I'm trying to think about if I were to put myself in that dad's shoes, that dad may be thinking, I'm paying the bills, I'm providing a roof over your head. And different generations do things differently, right? So in this dad's mind, he's probably showing the love by doing all this providing and stuff, but maybe he neglected to say it,
Yeah.
So that's why, I was asking you that question, because it's still important to tell your kids, yes, you need to show them with the actions for sure, but it's still important to also say it as well, because they need to hear it,
Yeah.
I think if, I'm looking at it too, just in my household, my wife, I could show her I'm loving her all day long, right? But I guarantee you she wants to hear it sometime too,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the first thing that I thought about as well. When I think about this topic, actions speak louder than words. I think about you have to show love, not just say it. It's more than just saying it. You have to say it as well, but it's more than just showing it. I mean, more than just saying it.
Yeah.
And I liked too that when you were giving examples, you didn't give, at least I don't remember, because I was jotting some stuff down, but you didn't give anything about buying certain things, right? Except for like paying for people's food, but that's a thoughtful act, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times, people may equate, just showing the love to, where I'm going to go buy them a new sweater, or it's something that they wanted, I saw it on Amazon, I'm just going to go buy it,
Yeah.
and showing love, you know, it's way more than just buying somebody something. Is,
Yeah.
you have to show them, being thoughtful, giving hugs, taking, doing something special for that person, because that's an action that they get to see and they'll cherish it a lot longer than, a pair of jeans that they'll grow out of. Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that I kind of thought about. And, another thing I thought about with actions speak louder than words, a lot of times this comes up when someone has lost the trust of someone else, right?
Yeah.
You've lost the trust of someone else, or you need to repair your reputation in some type of way. And
Man,
how
you
many
talking
times,
right now.
yeah, how many times have we seen it to where someone has done something and they ask, hey, forgive me, I won't do it again, blah, blah, blah. But they continue to do the same things,
Oh yeah.
right? Your actions are speaking something totally different than
Yeah.
what your words are. You're with your words, you may be saying, trust me, believe me, I'm not this person anymore. But, you're still, talking behind people's back. You're still running out on your wife or your husband or whatever. You're still doing those things, right?
Yeah.
And it's so important that, when that trust has been lost at some point in time, or you're trying to repair your reputation, you have to remember all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have a child who you've told, hey, I'm going to come pick you up on Friday and you and we're going to go and do this together, and you let them down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, oh, next weekend. At some point, your that trust between you and that child is going to diminish.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot for you to repair that relationship. And they're going to be watching your actions. They're not going to be necessarily listening to what you said, because at that point, I don't trust what you say.
Yeah.
I'm watching your actions, and your actions are saying that I'm not that important to you, Dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very, very important. It's very important that, when you've lost the trust of someone, or you're repairing you're repairing your reputation, or you're trying to repair a relationship, people are watching.
Yeah.
They are watching you like a hawk, as they say, right? And you have to make sure that those actions are lining up with your words. And if they're not, you won't be believed again. You may not get another opportunity to get that trust back.
Yeah. And I feel like when that I like to look at it as a bridge of trust. When that bridge of trust has been torn down, sometimes you got to do 100% more than you would normally have to do.
Mm-hmm. Got to go above and beyond sometimes.
Yeah. And I know sometimes dads that have, because nobody's, perfect. And, you may be a dad that has dropped the ball from time to time before, and that trust from your kids has been broken. But I just want to encourage you today that, hey, you need to be patient in the healing process of your kids. Just because you have changed, and you really have changed at that instant, that doesn't mean that your kids have gotten over it at that point, and that they truly believe that you have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you change, you got to keep doing what you're doing and going, far and beyond. And a lot of times in those relationships, even with your kids, you may be giving 80% and they're only coming with 20%. But dads, you gotta swallow that pill,
Yeah.
um, because you had the trust and you broke it. So it's like you gotta keep fighting, fighting, and fighting. And sometimes I've seen cases where I've actually seen several cases where that trust of the dad has been broken, and they're not really able to rebuild that trust until grandkids come into the picture.
Mm.
And it's a funny thing, but it's like some dads they become great grandparents, and in that same process they become better dads.
Yeah.
To their children through their grandchildren.
Mm.
Not saying everybody has to wait that long,
Right.
but I've seen a trend of that happening in our communities where they're great grandparents, and then that helps them become better fathers. But you just got to be patient, man, and you can't try and rush the kids. You got to let it be natural. And sometimes, hey, let's say if it took you 15 years where that bridge had been broken and it was nothing done to restore that trust, and then 15 years later, then you try and fix things back up, it's not all going to get fixed in 2 or 3 years.
That's right.
Okay. You might not even have a sit down conversation about some real serious issues and getting to the core of the problems. It can be 3 years have passed since you've reunited with your child, and it still hasn't gotten down to that core because they're not ready to have that conversation yet. But you got to be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that, what you're talking about.
You pretty much got to let them heal at their own pace. And a lot of times you might be saying, I love you, and it might not be, no, I love you back. But but you got to let people grow the way they grow. You
Yeah.
know, I can't tell
Everybody's
you
journey is
you're
different.
supposed to heal. You got to heal right now. That's not fair to them. They were hurt, and that doesn't mean that they haven't forgiven you, but they just haven't gotten to that point where they're that comfortable with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Everybody's journey is different, right?
yeah,
You know, I was kind of thinking about what you were saying, and I've seen situations like that before where the grandparent, you know, actually becomes like a great grandparent, but they weren't necessarily a great parent.
yeah,
And it's almost kind of like they're getting a do-over,
yeah,
right? It's kind of like, you know, hey, you know, and I think it's actually kind of commendable in a lot of ways. That the pain that you have to go through to do that is not ideal, right? But I think it's kind of commendable that they realize the mistakes that they made with their children, and maybe they decide to say some of the situations I've seen where they decide to say, hey, I'm not going to make those same mistakes with my grandkids.
yeah.
I think it's commendable in those situations for sure.
You know, and I can't help but think about the times that I felt like um people's actions didn't, they didn't let their actions speak. People tell you, I got your back. And when it all goes down, they don't have your back.
Yeah,
And
man.
and even with support, man, it can hurt, man, especially when you got big things going on in your life and people don't support you like they should have.
Yeah,
It can really, really hurt.
it can shake you, man. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, when people tell you,
Because I didn't ask you to tell me that you had my back. I didn't
yeah,
ask you to tell me that
yeah,
you were my friend. I didn't
yeah.
ask for that.
I got you. I got you. I got your back. Like you said, you didn't ask for that, but you said that. And then your actions prove different. Your
Yeah.
actions prove that when things got a little tough or a little rough, you went the other way.
Yeah.
Or all this support stuff, and nobody's around. You know where to be found. And
Yeah.
that's so true, man. A lot of people, because sometimes people say those things because it makes them feel better. I'm serious. It make you feel better to say, "Oh yeah, I told kid I got his back." Make you feel good. But there's no follow through there,
Yeah.
and that's corny to me. Be careful what you say. Your words have power, and your words can influence people and make people feel good or to make them feel worse and stuff. And and if you ain't about it, don't be telling people I got your back like that. It's best to probably just say nothing.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And I feel like with friends sometimes, man, it can be really hard when they don't have your back, because sometimes, just gonna be honest, like friends can sometimes make you feel like they're closer to you than some blood relatives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say sometimes, because that happens quite often, where you have people that are blood relatives that are not really close to you, but then you have friends that are like blood relatives. So it's like when you get hurt by friends, sometimes it can really hurt. And you
You
can
know
kind of
why?
you feel
You know
like
why?
you just gotta let them go, especially after they show time and time again that they have not had your back or they weren't your friend.
You know why that is? I think because you chose the friend, right?
Yeah,
You don't choose your family. Your family is your family for the rest of your life, but you choose your friends. You choose who you
yeah,
want to associate with, and you choose who you let your guard down with, and who you choose to be vulnerable with, and who you choose to build with, and all those things. And when someone, their words don't match their actions, or vice versa, it becomes,
yeah,
I thought you were a friend, but
yeah,
maybe you're not, you know. And sometimes, we've all heard the trite expressions and stuff. Sometimes people come in your life for a season, all those different things, which is true, but it's still, when people's actions don't match up with their words, it's still like you just look at them, you be like, you were different.
man. It's just it's
Sometimes it's
really
like that. I'm being serious, man.
it's really
Sometimes it's like, thought you were different.
yeah,
you know.
but it's really wild though, because like early on, it's so hard. Like I'm saying, like in your late teens and early 20s, it's really hard when that happens. it's like you don't even know what to do. You know, you don't know how to function after it because your friends are everything, and you don't want to have to let anybody go. But then as you get older, it's like, man, if you show that you are not about this, you're not for me, and all that, man, it's like you can let them go really quick. And sometimes it's scary how fast I feel like I can let people go sometimes.
Hmm.
But I guess it's just because you've been down that road before and you know that people that are not for you can really hurt you. And it's like, I'm not trying to feel that pain anymore. And you got to go out of my life. And I
Yeah,
guess it's because you do choose people who you let to get into your circle of trust,
that's
if
right.
you would say so.
Circle of
Um,
trust.
and yeah, like on what, Meet the Parents.
Parents, yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
You're in the circle of trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You are here.
it's like you let people in, and it's like I chose you to be a part of my life. And once you show yourself that you're not, you know, worthy of that, then I choose to put you out of my
Yeah.
life. And I think that's a maturity thing. I don't think we should feel bad about it because as the older you get, I feel like you should um, know yourself, you know what type of people are good for you, know what type of people are not good for you, know what kind of personalities that you mesh good with, which personalities you don't get along with.
Hmm.
And I feel like that we all should get to a point where you can kind of feel, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
You seem like you got another thought.
I do. I do. I was sitting here thinking, actions speak louder than words. And I don't hear this as often as much as I did when I was growing up, but you've heard of the expression, do as I say, not as I do. I know you've heard of that, right? I don't, I don't know where the old heads are and why people don't say that as much anymore, but I've we've all kind of heard that expression before. And just to tell you like a little bit about me, right? Where um I used to be a lot heavier than I am right now. You know that,
Yeah.
right? And so when I was going on my weight loss journey, I noticed one of the things that was most difficult for me to be able to lose the weight was snacking. I love to snack. I didn't realize how much I snacked until I made a commitment to lose weight. And, it's a thing where, like if you finish a meal and you're like, okay, I'm done. And then it was so difficult for me because it was like I'd finish eating, and then, 30 minutes later, hour later, when I was, at my heaviest or whatever, I'd
Yeah.
go back in and snack some more, just snack, throughout the day, chips or whatever, just still snacking. And even now, sometimes, I've gotten down to the weight that I want to be at, or, in that particular range where I'm trying to be, where I want to stay. And I even notice now sometimes I might still snack. I might get done eating and I'm snacking. And then I remember one day I caught my son doing it. And it was a thing where I was like, hey, didn't you just eat? You know how it is sometimes where, no, you still got a little one. But sometimes, kids, they you might halfway want to spaz on them just because you told them a couple things or whatever. So it's one of those days. It's like, didn't you just get through eating? Why are you eating this and blah, blah, blah? Well, you're eating it. And I was like, you're right. I was trying to get him to do as I say,
Yeah.
not as I do. But I was showing him action that, hey, I'm still snacking. So it's all right for him to snack too. So it's just those things, that's just a small, light example.
Yeah.
But dads, be careful with that mentality of do as I say, not as I do, because your kids are watching, and if you're telling them not to do this and not to do that, but you're still doing it, don't be surprised when they get of age or, even not of age to do certain things that they're mimicking you. They're mimicking those behaviors because you're one of the first teachers of your child. So
Yes.
you still got to be careful of your actions, even in that way, right?
Yes, kids are very impressionable.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're the first teachers of pretty much everything that's going on in the house. And we don't speak in absolutes because there are some kids that grow up in certain situations and they're saying, I will not be like my mother. I will not be like my father. It's just how they are.
Right.
You know, a lot of kids can break out from that. But if you want your kids to be a certain type of way, I would suggest that you show them the best example possible of what you want them to be when they grow up.
Right.
Because what they see, we are our environment. Like I said, again, I'm not speaking in absolutes. You always have somebody that can break through and change and not be like what they've seen their whole lives. But I'm just saying the chances of them turning into an adult and doing the same things that they saw their parents do or parenting the same way they saw their parents do, that is high. It's a high chance that that will happen.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm not speaking in absolutes because we all see things that our parents might have done that we say, well, I saw my parents did this. Well, I'm going to do this. Or I'm going to do it this way. I
Right.
think that this might work better. Or I didn't like the way they did that. I'm going to do it like this, you know. Um, so I think we definitely have to be the example. And I know a lot of people don't want to show that example all the time. But whenever somebody told me something like that, don't do as I do as I say, it's like, you doing it for a reason. You
Right.
know?
Right.
You
Right.
know, so it's like, I never wanted to parent Jonah that way.
Hmm.
I wanted to, if he grows up and does something outside the box um that I don't approve of, then I don't want it to I don't want to say, hey, he probably is doing that because he saw me doing it. I don't want to feel like that.
Right.
I want
Right.
to be able to say, no, I showed him the right way. I trained him up as, in the right way that he should go. And once he got grown, he decided to do A, B, and C, you know,
Right.
not
Right.
that he got that from me, because it really would hurt me to see him doing something that I didn't approve of, that I showed him, you know.
Hmm.
So as parents and as dads especially, we got to take responsibility, and whether the outcomes of our kids are good or bad is on us.
Yep.
We got to take it whichever way it comes.
Absolutely right.
So that's why we have to, you don't have long, 17, 18 years,
Hmm.
and it's over quick.
Yeah.
It's over quick, and we got to
Yep.
show them the best way all the time to give them the best chance to be successful. And
Hmm.
another thing I thought about was action speaking louder than words. You can tell, like we can tell our kids all day long, son, go chase your dreams. You can do whatever you want to do in this life. Don't you worry about somebody telling you that you can't do it. You can do it. But dad, are you quitting on your dreams?
That's very true.
Are you committed to your dreams? When somebody comes to you and gives you a negative comment about your dream or your plan or something like that, do you just shy off from it and say, "You right, I can't do it"?
Yeah. Do you fold up and quit, or you persevere and keep saying, nope, I'm keeping on going? Yeah. That's absolutely right, man.
So I just feel like, even and parents will say this too. I can't wait to, when I get rich, this kind of car I'm gonna get. And then they don't have no kind of plan in place to achieve that goal or we're gonna go on vacation here. What is it, the Maldives? Man, have you seen
Yeah.
pictures of that place?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
it's an amazing place. But anyway, they say, hey, I'm gonna go on vacation there. And your kids never see a plan put in place. Or if they see a plan or they see you talking about, well, I'm gonna start doing this and I'm gonna start doing that, and that's how I'm gonna make this money and I'm gonna do this. Man, I can't wait. We're gonna be millionaires. But they don't never see you chase that goal. They see you doing the same thing every day. And you talking about you want a different outcome, but you're doing the same thing every day. And that is called insanity. I don't know where I heard that from,
No,
but it's the
that's what,
truth.
yeah.
It's the truth, man. So it's like, if we want our kids to truly go out there and reach their goals and their dreams, and your goal might be to own a house. Your goal might be to have a steady job, a steady income.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal might be to be the CEO over your company or the company that you work for. Your goal might be to be a elementary school principal. Your goal may be to climb the corporate ladder. Whatever your goal is, let your goals be known to your kids and say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
want
show
you
them how to plan.
yeah.
Yeah, show them how to plan too, you know.
I don't want to hide everything from my son as far as my journey to reaching my goals. I talk to him even a little bit now, talking about the things that I'm doing and the
Right.
things that I'm into. Even at his young age, I'm talking about it now. And like when I'm going to work, man, it's so funny, man. Because we talk, me and you talk daily or whatever. And it's like when I came home, it was like he said, Daddy, did you have a good day at work? Did you get the money? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling them that. I'm telling them, it's a purpose, because like right now I'm going in Shanika's home right now. She's home for the summer with him or whatever. So it's like we're having those conversations and I'm telling them Dad's going to work to make money.
Yeah.
So he's getting that. And it's good for him to see that. It's good for him to see that grind,
Yeah.
And he needs to know that, hey, when Dad goes take you to go see monster trucks, it's not because it came out the sky. Daddy had to go put that work in.
Right.
For you to be able to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or when we go on vacation or something like that, he needs to know Dad had to go up here every day that Dad left and he was gone all day. That's why we're here.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson that most of us dads can teach our sons and daughters, because most of us are going to work. And most of us have dreams. I would safe to say that all of us have had dreams one time or another. Some of y'all have quit on your dreams, and I think that's the biggest mistake you can make in life, is quitting on your dreams, because you just stop your progression.
Yeah.
But we don't need to have empty dreams. If you got a dream, then it needs to be some action behind those words.
Mm-hmm. You got to put that plan together and go forward with that plan.
Yeah.
Most definitely. It's more. And a lot of times, I've heard people talk about this, and just in terms of your dreams. And I've heard some of the experts, they'll say, be careful with telling your dreams, because it has something to do with the instant gratification that you get sometimes when you tell your dream to someone, right? And like you get like this sense of, I shared it with someone and I feel better now, and you have to sometimes do things to where you're doing the actions and you're not really talking about it a whole lot, because otherwise you start to talk about it and you feel like, oh, I've accomplished it, when you haven't. And you don't want to fall into that trap of, I've had to stop myself from, sharing certain things just because I'm like, no, if I know the reaction I might get from this person if I share some of the things that I want to do. And I'm not saying don't tell your dreams to someone. That's not what I'm saying, but you have to just be very, very careful. You have to
be careful.
Yeah, you have to discern when that time is right to do that, right? Because you'll get that sense of accomplishment sometimes, by sharing a dream, and someone says, "Oh man, that's great," and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden, then we all know people like this, that they do a whole bunch of talking.
They chatty patties.
Yeah, and so they'll go around talking all this big talk of stuff they're going to do, and they really not doing it.
Yeah.
So you just have to be careful with that, because again, actions speak louder than words.
And that's another thing, like when you go and telling people your plans and what you want to do. And I think sometimes the worst reaction is that no reaction. Like when you tell people something and your dream is so big and so crazy that they don't really respond.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, when they think that you're crazy because you dream so big, and me and you know this because we dream very, very big.
Yeah.
And people think you crazy.
Yeah.
And I just look at it like, okay. Think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Because when this crazy dream comes true, you're not going to think I'm crazy no more.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, snap. He did it.
Yeah.
He did all that crazy talk that he was talking about. He followed it and he did it.
They know then you really had the vision,
So now it's a reality. And then those same people that were your doubters and that they felt like you were so crazy, when they find out you can do what you do and they see the life that you're living and they still grinding and still not getting anywhere, they just basically spinning their wheels, and they see where you were grinding so hard and now you at this great place in life, those same people will try and copy your plan.
Yeah. It happens.
They'll copy your plan and say, how can I get to where he got
mm-hmm.
Man, you just got to have in your mind, hey, I know what I am. I know who I am. And I know what I'm talking about. And I know I can do this. And man, sometimes you might be the only person that believes in it. But you just can't forget all that talk and all that thinking in your mind. You got to back it with action.
That's right.
Because it don't mean nothing. You can say stuff all day long, but if you don't back it up by trying and putting forth the effort, so worst thing you can do in life is not try. And I talked to you about this before. We talked about how would our kids feel if we lived our whole lives and successful, got to retirement, and one day we close our eyes and we're dead and gone, and our kids say, dang, Dad had the potential to do this, or he always talked about doing this, but he never took that step of faith and he never was able to accomplish it.
Yeah.
They're going to feel like you were an honorable guy because you were a good person.
Yeah.
But how they going to feel about you not reaching their dream, not reaching your dream? If you didn't reach your dream, then it's going to put some doubt in your kids that they might not be able to reach theirs. But what if you reach yours?
Yeah.
And they see it? Then they got a crazy dream that they got.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful at that point.
And then it's like,
and then you've laid the blueprint out for them.
I can do it.
Yeah, you've laid the blueprint out for them of what they need to do. That's huge. That's huge.
And one thing I love about that is betting on yourself. That's when you start betting on yourself. Over everybody else, you bet on yourself. I bet on myself over everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm depending on me, I know I'm gonna get it.
Yep.
So, you got anything else on the topic?
No, sir.
All right. We thank you guys for listening to the Dad Rules podcast. And right here we got Mario E and Kid, and we are signing out.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Dad Rules podcast with your host, Mario E and Kid. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Breaker, and Player FM. Till next time.